I might have to conclude that the science fiction writers of our generation are pretty shitty. Around 2009, Star Trek started to change, and I don't think it can be laid entirely at the feet of J.J. Abrams. He's a competent director, but my complaint with him is very similar, actually, to my complaint with Michael Bay. It's not that they're bad directors, they're both kind of sham artists, and they have really bad taste in writers. Not necessarily that the story project ideas in and of themselves are bad, but the actual screenplay itself is shit in both their cases almost all the time. But like I said, I don't necessarily want to lay J.J. Abrams as the real responsible party for the change in Star Trek because it's continued after he walked away to go start working on Star Wars. And Discovery is arguably way worse than the reboot movies. The reboot movies were kind of inevitable. We were going to have to cross that bridge at some point. But Star Trek Discovery is a schizophrenic mess, and it doesn't make sense because CBS produced the original Star Trek, I basically the most iconic Star Trek, and it also made Deep Space Nine, which 90% of the Star Trek fans I hear interact with generally agree that Deep Space Nine is the best version of Star Trek yet to date. So, how is it that CBS could make two of the best series, but also make the worst one? Alex Kurtzman is the answer. He's been involved with the writing of Star Trek since the J.J. Abrams one. He did both the 2009 Star Trek and Into Darkness, and he also wrote, I think maybe co-produced some of the Discovery episodes. And now, as some people may remember, maybe about a month or so ago, news came out that he's negotiated a deal to be in charge of the Star Trek franchise from this point outward for CBS, and they got 4 new series that are in development under his umbrella. And considering his track record, this is terrible, terrible news. The best things that Alex Kurtzman has done are generally the children's shows that he's been involved in, from what I can tell. And I'm about to go through his IMDb here in a minute with y'all. So maybe the Star Trek animated series, that's one of the 4 shows that he's producing. Maybe that actually might be good. I give that one the highest hopes. Because like I said, the cartoons and the children type stuff that he's been involved with were all actually pretty A+ quality. It's the adult fare where he's lacking. You can get away with slippery, crappy science in a children's show to a degree. But when you have a young adult, or even older, smarter, nerd teenagers, some of the stuff, and especially in the 2 movies, um, the vagueness of red matter, and just how slap in the face dumb the use of cold fusion to freeze a volcano was. I mean, that's beyond J.J. Abrams and having his visual thing for wanting to show people standing on planets seeing things going on in space that they should not be able to physically see. That's a stylistic visual thing. But the cold fusion, blowing up the volcano to freeze it, that's straight out of the script, motherfucker. So yeah, Alex Kurtzman is the problem. And we're also apparently going to be getting a Wrath of Khan miniseries from him and a teeny bopper sounding Starfleet Academy show, which actually, people have been talking about making a Starfleet Academy show for a long, long time. The 2009 movie originally was pitched as this was going to be a Starfleet Academy movie, and you can still see parts of that in the 2009 Star Trek reboot because good chunks of it do take place following Kirk and McCoy while they're in school. It's just not the entire focus of the movie. And there's an unspecified Star Trek series that hasn't. They're being closed mouthed about what the concept for that one is. So we'll see. Maybe It won't be something dumb like them going to another galaxy or anything like that. That would be really bad. So let's take a look here at Alex Kurtzman's history. He's got a lot of producer credits. That's not as much of what I'm interested in because I'm looking. Yes, here we are. He's got 24 writer credits. Should we start at the most recent and work back? No, we should go back to the beginning. Where is his origins? He's got 14 episodes that he wrote for Hercules: The Legendary Journeys. Well, like I said, kids shows he's actually good with. I have a fond spot in my heart for Hercules and Xena. They're both shit. They were shit at the time, and I've always known it. But there's this they have a fun energy to them, an escapist kind of fantasy. Let's see, and he wrote 3 episodes for something called Jack of All Trades. Never heard of it. 10 episodes of Alias. I guess that's where he first came across J.J. Abrams. He wrote The Island. I think that was that Michael Bay movie. A Michael Bay connection already. We've been Kevin Baconed. He wrote The Legend of Zorro. Eh. Mission Impossible 3. Okay, there's something that people actually respect and like. I myself, I'm not a Mission Impossible fan, but I don't hate them, and I don't knock on people for liking them. It's not like they're the Fast and Furious or something really retarded. Oh, yeah, here we go. This is my complaint. When the Star Trek reboot first came out, of why on earth did they hire the guy who wrote the Transformers live action movie and Transformers Revenge of the Fallen to write a Star Trek movie? To somewhat parrot a Bill Hicks line, but is this our barometer for the quality of science fiction in our modern age? Is Transformers? Well, there's obviously the guy who should write Star Trek for us, the guy who fucking wrote Transformers. Maybe he can throw in some racist scenes with Bernie Mac. Oh, Bernie Mac died. Well, we'll do something else. Oh, Cowboys and Aliens. I personally didn't think Cowboys and Aliens was all that bad, but it didn't seem to go anywhere. It didn't seem to stick. Most people panned it as boring, and I've never had any urge to want to rewatch it. Let's see, something called Lock and Key, something called People Like Us. Oh my God, he's 100 episodes of Fringe he had writing credit on. I know people like Fringe. I watched some of it, maybe a couple seasons of it when it first got syndicated and some cable channel was running it. But and there's things about stylistically how the show's put together that's cool, but it was nonsense. And worse, it was a nonsense X Files derivative. It wasn't really original at all. It's just, what if the X Files had a little bit of interdimensional travel? Let's see. Oh, he wrote a Star Trek video game in 2013. Never played it. Wrote Star Trek Into Darkness. Was that movie even written? It just looked like they just took the screenplay from Wrath of Khan and just mix and match the dialogue to what actor's supposed to say the dialogue. The Amazing Spider-Man 2. Look, guys, the guy's going to be bringing us 4 new Star Trek series that we can hope will wash the bad taste of Discovery out of our mouth. Is the guy who wrote Amazing Spider-Man 2. Sleepy Hollow. Never seen it. I generally hear nothing negative about it, so okay. Oh, yeah. He wrote, directed The Mummy, the one with Tom Cruise. Everyone's favorite mummy. Let's see, 191 episodes. Oh, developed by. He's written by. He's only wrote 1 episode. Okay, well, he wrote an episode of Hawaii Five-O and helped develop a whole bunch of their other scripts. Never watched Hawaii Five-O, the original series, as a kid. No interest to watch Hawaii Five-O as an adult, so don't care. Story by and created by. He's got some writing credit on Discovery, 28 episodes worth. And it's announced that he'll be the writer of Bride of Frankenstein, which is not going to get made, from what I tell, because that's one of those defunct Dark Universe Universal Studio movies. And the Mummy, which he made, flopped. How sad that they still have that on here. And let's see, producers. He produced Hercules. He produced on Xena. Looks like he got producer credit on most of the things he's written for. Oh, he produced Now You See Me. That wasn't bad. Oh, they say here's one of the things: Transformers Prime, another kids show. He's executive producer. It was a great kids show. It easily one of the top 3 Transformers series ever made. Producer on Matador, never heard of it. Producer on a Tales from the Dark Side TV movie I never heard of. Limitless, he's a producer on. Produced Now You See Me 2, which I never bothered watching, even though I liked the first one. Producer on Sleepy Hollow. Producer on Discovery. Producer on Scorpion, Hawaii Five-O Instinct, Salvation. Oh, and he's still got listed The Invisible Man and an untitled Dracula movie and an untitled Frankenstein movie, an untitled Hunchback of Notre Dame. They were going to have the Hunchback of Notre Dame and the Dark Universe and the Phantom of the Opera and a Van Helsing. And he's got producer credit on the untitled Star Trek sequel, which may or may not be a Quentin Tarantino joint. And at the very top of his IMDb page, he's known for Sleepy Hollow, The Mummy, Star Trek 2009, and Transformers Revenge of the Fallen. Oh, dear God. Was J. Michael Straczynski too old? Is there like no one else available? Is it that Alex Kurtzman gives amazing head? Why on earth is he being given the strings for Star Trek? Couldn't we have gotten Ronald Moore back? Because when I think about it, like the last 10, 15 years, in terms of television sci-fi at least, I can't. Ronald Moore's probably given us our best stuff. And unfortunately, he's already from Star Trek. And I don't know if they can get him back. Or if they even want him to, because they want to be doing something new with it. First Star Wars. In a couple of years, am I going to find I dislike Star Trek now? What'll be left? Nothing. I might actually have to write my own shit finally. Ugh.